Hi guys, and welcome to another episode of Kabir Considers. In this video, I'm going to react to 5 reactions of innocent prisoners set free. This video, stuff like this, I can't help but put myself in that situation. Imagining I've been imprisoned for a crime that I know I didn't commit. You know, I spend all my savings on the best lawyers I can afford. They're fighting my case. I still end up serving a bit of time because these appeals, I imagine, take time. And then finally, you're released. Just the level of, it must be a mixture of emotions. You're obviously relieved that you now have your freedom back, but at the same time, the time you've lost, the money you've spent, the things that you must have suffered and witnessed being imprisoned, just absolutely crazy stuff. This video is gonna sort of give us a perspective into that, show us, actually people who have dealt with this. It must be crazy. Let's do it.
It started in 2004 when the Honduran immigrant was accused of killing 2 women. A man who was sentenced to die, literally was on death row.
So it's the case of this guy named Clemente Aguirre. And if I tell you this story, you'll say, you gotta be making the up. It can't be true.
14 years, 4 months,
Is
and
that how
19
long he
days.
served?
I've been incarcerated.
14
10 years, 3 months of them in
years.
death row.
On June 25, 2004, in Altamonte, Florida, 24-year-old Clemente was indicted on charges of first-degree murder and burglary,
God.
a crime that he did not commit.
From the start, Aguirre said he found the women dead, that he tried to help, and that's how their blood got on his clothes and his footprints.
It was a gruesome crime that found his neighbors, 68-year-old Carol Barris and 47-year-old Cheryl Williams, stabbed to death.
I didn't do it. I don't kill nobody.
However, despite Clemente protesting his innocence, police decided he was the only possible suspect and he was sentenced to death.
But surely you need to actually know without a doubt that he did it before you can sentence him to death. Like, it can't just be, oh, he's the only person that could have done it. Like, it doesn't seem right to me.
In the 14 years on death row, Clemente never stopped trying to clear his name. And he wasn't wrong either. As it turns out, Samantha, Cheryl's daughter, prior to the murder, was diagnosed with intermittent explosive disorder.
Within inches of the mother's body and in a bathroom where the state argued the killer cleaned up is the daughter's blood, a trail of the daughter's blood going to the bathroom,
What the hell?
and then the mother's blood on the outside of the daughter's window. And there's in the doctor's notes, a few years before this happened, where she says to her mother, I'm gonna kill you if I ever get out of here. I'll kill all of you. Then we find out that she has confessed all over town.
What?
We had people coming in all over the place, testifying, affidavits.
But how wasn't this information gathered before? Like, how did they allow this guy to spend 14 years in prison when she was confessing all over town?
So she said, I killed my mother and my grandmother, I'll do it to you.
With such irrefutable evidence implicating Cheryl's daughter, the day finally arrived for Clemente.
I do know that nobody believed me back then. No.
Oh, poor guy.
Besides my mother, nobody believed. And I thank you for
My heart breaks for him, man.
from the bottom of my heart.
He holds back tears and immediately heads towards friends and family to celebrate.
But today is a brighter day, a new day, and I got good hopes for the future.
Man, I hope this guy sued whoever he could sue and won. This guy got 14 years robbed from him. From 24, he was 38 when he got out. So his youth is just gone.
This is Devontae Sanford, who in 2007 was sentenced to 37 to 90 years in prison. A horrific quadruple murder that he did not commit. He was only 14 years old at the time.
14?
Devontae was walking outside his home in his pajamas when he was arrested just 3 blocks away from a vicious crime scene involving 4 people and an
wrong place,
AK-47
wrong
assault
time.
rifle. Devontae was taken to the local police station, where it turns out that the police coerced him into a false confession, with the use of leading questions and feeding him facts from the case. To make matters worse, his lawyer at the time didn't help by convincing him to enter a guilty plea.
What?
His current lawyer had this to say.
In the course of their targeting him, they literally fabricated evidence
This is
and committed
infuriating.
perjury in order to ensure that this young man, that they could get a conviction.
But just 3 weeks later,
Scum.
there was another twist in this tale. And that twist came in the form of hitman Vincent Smothers. Smothers was arrested for 12 murders, 4 of which turned out to be the case that Sanford was convicted for. The lack of action from the justice courts got the attention of the Northwestern Center of Wrongfully Convicted Youths.
Those officers who basically coerced him into that confession, I hope that they got fired and put in prison, because I'm sure they must have broken. This is not how you get a confession. Like, come on, this is wrong.
Who pushed to reopen the case, which led to Devontae's freedom in 2016.
It was a homecoming 9 years in
He
the
was
making.
only 14.
Interestingly enough, Devontae is thankful to one particular person for his freedom.
The lawyer, right?
Smothers.
The guy.
He protected me, not the cops. The cops took advantage of me. It's because of this man. You know, I'm able to walk and breathe and just, you know, be at peace.
As it turns out, all that time spent wrongfully incarcerated may have taken its toll on Sanford, who found it hard acclimatizing back into regular society.
Of course you would.
New and serious trouble for Devontae Sanford. The 25-year-old was convicted of murder here in Detroit, then exonerated and released from prison.
He was arrested for assault in 2018,
Devontae.
and this time, there was no hitman to take the heat.
Devontae. Oh, damn. Oh. I mean, he was probably institutionalized from all the time he spent, but man, after all you went through, why would you get yourself put back in prison?
In 1991, Queens, New York, 19-year-old Gregory Counts and 21-year-old Van Dyke Perry were sentenced to life in prison for a crime they did not commit. The victim was held at knife point out front of her Queens home, thrown into a car, and driven to Central Park, where she was then raped multiple times.
Oh, God.
She claimed that the men responsible were Counts, Perry, and a third unknown man. In 2017, after having already served 11 years, the Innocence Project reinvestigated the Counts and Perry case using DNA that was retested. DNA cleared both Counts and Perry from the semen found on the victim. It led to a man who was deceased. Weird, right? So why would the victim make up such a heinous story
Right?
and send 2 innocent men to jail? The answer will get your blood boiling.
The complainant now admits that her boyfriend forced her to lie and falsely claim these men sexually assaulted her. Her boyfriend was trying to avoid having to pay a debt to these 2 men.
Oh my God. Oh. That boyfriend, man. You burn in hell.
All that for a boyfriend avoiding debt, the things we do for money.
You rot in hell.
Let's have a look as both Counts and Perry sit in court, hearing the sweet sound of freedom echoing throughout. They do their best to hold back their emotions.
Poor guys. 11 years.
Although they are free and reintegrating back into society now, it's clear that this horrible, unjust story will haunt both these men for the
Forever.
rest of their lives.
It's never going to be over. The
that
reason why, because
boyfriend.
it tormented my life and it's my past.
That boyfriend, man. Oh my God. You better sleep with one eye open.
1993, New Jersey. 22-year-old Tito Marino was murdered in his video store, another gruesome death by stabbing. Eric Kelly and Ralph Lee were both convicted of a crime they had no connection to. The whole story was put together by police using coercion and a sketchy eyewitness. They then used those statements against Lee, and that's how they nailed their conviction. It wasn't until once again the Innocence Project got involved in their case.
Man, I'm going to donate to the Innocence Project after this. As soon as I'm done with this video, I'm going to donate, because if not for this organization, how many people would either spend the rest of their life in prison or be executed? Like, unbelievable work these guys are doing.
That Eric and Ralph felt a bit of hope.
And the state has just dug in their heels ever since. They refused to investigate this other person, refused to talk to him, didn't look into his history, and instead are just, blindly clinging to this conviction at all costs.
Lee was released after 11 years. However, it wasn't until 2018, after having spent 24 years in prison, that Kelly was finally given back his freedom, after new DNA evidence was presented to the judge in court.
Therefore, in light of the foregoing reasons, the motion to file both defendants count 3 of the Catalan.
Interestingly enough, we find Judge Joseph Portelli in full Karen mode.
Listen to me. It's not a moment of choice. It's a moment of justice. Okay? It's not something to celebrate.
What?
Not celebrate.
We're not sure about you, but
what the hell is his problem? The guy's bit... Oh, I'm getting really annoyed. Oh my God. Woosa. But what is the judge's problem here? The guy's served almost a quarter of a century and he's been released finally and he can't celebrate? Why?
But freedom after 24 years of wrongful incarceration seems like a pretty good reason to celebrate.
That judge is an asshole.
Kelly and Lee didn't let this dampen their moods. Both were hungry, high in spirits, and thankful for everyone that had played a part in their release.
Man.
Mainly, I want to eat. I'm a little hungry. Be with my legal team. I want to thank them. I want to thank my family. First and foremost, it's been a long time. I just don't know. I'm just out of words right now. I'm just feeling good right now. That's all.
What would you want someone who didn't know anything about your case to know?
I'm an innocent man. I'm an innocent man.
All's well that ends well. For now.
Right, in the case of People versus Juan Ignacio Catalan, is that your true name?
Yes, ma'am.
This is Juan Catalan, the man saved by sitcom. An alibi caught on camera, but not in the way you think. On May 13th, 2003, 16-year-old Martha Puebla, a witness in a case of a gang slaying, was shot and killed in front of her home in Sun Valley, California. It wasn't until 3 months later that the FBI arrested 24-year-old Juan Catalan during a raid in front of his family's machine shop. Juan was interrogated for hours. It seemed like they already had a huge amount of evidence against him. A witness sketch that looks like you. A witness that was supposed to take the stand against your brother gets murdered in cold blood. It doesn't look good. But Juan consistently pleads his innocence, telling officers that they're trying to pin this crime on the wrong person.
You guys are gonna take away my life for this bullshit. You killed somebody. Wait a minute. Those are very strong words right there. I did not kill nobody. I would never kill nobody. I never do anything to hurt anybody. Convince us otherwise.
As things get sticky, Juan
But hold on, it's not down to him to convince you. You have to prove it beyond any doubt, beyond reasonable doubt. You have to prove that he did it. Like, he shouldn't have to... What?
Remembered that he was at a Dodgers game with his daughter on that day. But a stadium full of tens of thousands of people, what are the chances that someone captured him there? And even more so, the chances that you'd be able to retrieve said footage. Well, this is where this case becomes wild. Juan remembered he was on TV, but not the Dodgers cam. It just so happened that Larry David, the creator of Seinfeld and star of the HBO show Curb Your Enthusiasm, was shooting an episode in the exact same aisle as Catalan and his daughter.
The episode was that I picked up a hooker in the carpool lane and took her to Dodger Stadium.
What are the chances? Juan's lawyer contacted HBO, got access to the footage of that episode, and ran the tapes. Hours of research brought no results, and he was running out of tape and felt like he wasn't going to get what he needed. And then, there it was, the once-in-a-lifetime chance of an alibi caught on tape.
And I pointed at the screen and I said, that's him, roll that back.
This footage, combined with a phone call made to his girlfriend at the exact time he was leaving the stadium, led to his case being thrown out.
Unbelievable. What are the odds? What are the odds? Oh my god. Oh my god.
Both detectives were found guilty of coercion and falsifying their reports.
Yeah,
As for Juan, what can you say? Talk about being in the right place at the right time.
From getting the tickets on the day of to being caught on camera, well, what are the chances that out of 58,000 seats, they're filming on my aisle?
Man.
I look at it like I did win the lottery.
Yeah.
Because I got a new opportunity at life, with my family. I was so happy and grateful for that.
Unreal. Honestly, that video made me really angry. I was infuriated at times. To think that you would be willing to see two guys sent down, for the rest of their lives so that you can avoid paying a debt. Honestly, the lack of, how do I even word this? That's almost psychopathic to me. Psychopathic, oh my god. And some of the work done the police here, just horrendous. I'm so glad that those two detectives in the final segment of this video were sent down. How do you like it? Now, how do you like being imprisoned? And you were actually guilty. So this guy, you sent him down, but he was innocent. You basically forced him into that situation, into confessing. He didn't even confess. You basically just saw to it that he would get sent down for a crime he didn't commit. And you have to think, there are probably thousands and thousands of people in prison right now who are innocent. The Innocence Project probably can't help everybody, can they? They've probably got limited resources. Oh my God, it's just an absolute tragedy. It's such a tragedy, but at least these 5 people, or these 5 cases, saw innocent people set free, at least. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.